So, what do enterprise software and independent music venues really have in common? I mean, usually not a whole lot. But today, we're diving into the story of Tobias, a founder who is basically living a double life. By day, he's building and investing in these massive software companies. And by night, he's helping save the very stages where your favorite bands play. Let's get into how these two completely different worlds ended up colliding.
It's a pretty wild question, right? How in the world do you go from selling super complex software to a giant like Salesforce to rescuing an iconic independent music hall? Well, the answer is right there at the intersection of passion and profession. And that's really the core of the story we're going to unpack today.
So to really get how he solved a huge problem in the music world, we first have to understand his roots. And those roots are planted deep in the world of tech. This is where Tobias spent decades building, scaling, and selling companies.
I mean, his journey is basically a masterclass in how to be an entrepreneur. He started with an e-commerce site right out of college. Then he founded iGo Digital, a company that was way ahead of its time in online personalization. That success led to a major acquisition, a big-time role at Salesforce, and then eventually co-founding High Alpha, a venture studio that just launches B2B software companies. You see the pattern here, right? See a need, build a solution.
And listen, this wasn't just some small side project. Back in 2012, his company iGo Digital was acquired for $21 million. This was a serious software business solving a major problem for some of the biggest retailers in the world.
So his day job is literally creating the architecture for brand new tech companies. He's not just a guy writing checks. He is in the trenches building the next generation of software. And this particular skill set, knowing how to build complex systems from scratch, is going to become absolutely crucial later on.
Okay, but running parallel to this entire tech career is this other identity, the lifelong, die-hard music fan. And this isn't just a hobby we're talking about. For Tobias, it's something fundamental.
And this is where it all connects. You see, his passion for music isn't separate from his tech career. It's what actually started it. Before streaming, back when fans were trading bootleg tapes of concerts, he taught himself to code so he could build a website to trade them online. So these two worlds, they were linked from the very beginning.
And that passion didn't just fade away, it grew into a full-blown production company called 45, which now owns and operates multiple venues. He went from being a fan in the crowd to being the guy responsible for creating that live music magic for his entire city.
So you've got the expert software builder and the dedicated music operator. And in 2019, these two worlds didn't just meet, they collided. And that collision created the spark for something entirely new.
It all started right here. He and his partners bought The Vogue, an iconic venue with history stretching all the way back to the 1930s. It was a dream come true. But with this one purchase, his perspective completely flipped. He was no longer just building software for other people. Now he was the customer.
This was the aha moment. He walked into his new venue, this place he loved, and he was just shocked. Here's this tech expert who lives and breathes digital efficiency, and he discovers the entire business is running on paper and a bunch of disconnected spreadsheets. For the first time, he was feeling the user's pain firsthand. The problem was crystal clear. On one side, you had the old way, just this chaotic mess of tools that didn't talk to each other, which meant wasted time and missed opportunities. And on the other side was the obvious need, a single, unified operating system designed specifically for the people who actually book, manage, and promote live shows.
So what happens when a serial software founder finds a massive software problem in an industry he absolutely loves? Well, he doesn't just complain about it. He builds the tool that he wishes existed. And that tool is Opendate. It's an all-in-one platform that's really designed to be the central nervous system for a live event business. And it was born directly from the frustrations of running The Vogue. It was literally created by the very people who needed it most.
And the impact was immediate. A case study showed that after one venue group switched to Opendate, their offer velocity, which is basically how quickly they could book new shows, shot up by 31%. In an industry where speed is everything, that is a massive, massive gain.
And the industry definitely noticed. This quote from venue owner Daniel Brindley really gets to the heart of it. Opendate works because the team just gets it. You know, they aren't tech outsiders just guessing what the industry needs. They've actually lived the problems themselves.
And here is a perfect real-world example. Forget being chained to a desk in the back office. An operations manager can settle up with a band, line by line, right from his phone at the end of the night. This is a tool that's built for the messy reality of the music business.
And the market has totally validated the idea.
Opendate recently raised a $14 million Series A round. This proves it's not just a passion project anymore. It's a high-growth tech company that's ready to change an entire industry.
But this story isn't just about a successful startup. All that funding and growth, it's all in service of a much bigger mission, making sure a vital part of our culture can survive and thrive.
At its core, the mission is to give independent venues the modern tools they need to compete. By making their operations smoother and more efficient, Opendate helps them focus on what they do best, creating those unforgettable live experiences.
And these are the values that are driving that mission. They're super straightforward, right? Very action-oriented. You can see the accountability in Make It Right. And Think Big and Move Fast is basically the startup playbook, just applied directly to the world of live music.
This quote from Opendate CEO Jeb Banner just captures the whole spirit of the company. The team is driven by a real, genuine love for live music and this desire to support the entire ecosystem that makes it possible for all of us.
You know, when you boil it all down, this is a perfect example of what people in tech call founder-market fit. Tobias had the deep technical know-how to build a world-class platform, but it was his authentic, lived experience as a venue owner, feeling their pain, that allowed him to see the real problem and design the right solution. Tobias's journey really shows that the most powerful innovations often come from combining our passions with our skills. So it kind of makes you think, doesn't it? What problems do you see in the world you love, and how could your unique experience be the key to solving them?